welcome. Why do I feel like you guys can't hear me? Let me check my mic. That's muted. Let me just check. It says it's connected. Check. Yeah, I'm on. Okay. Hey and welcome you guys. It looked like the mic wasn't working for a second, but we are all set. We are here. Hey, 69 ways. I was just about to say, I don't know who was about to be on here at this hour of the night. Happy Sunday, you guys. I apologize for the hour. Life was life, but now my kids are asleep. So I'm like, I'm gonna just come get this done. Come hell or high water. Let's talk about it. Power Book 2 Ghost. Season 4, Episode 8, A Higher Calling. Baby, this Episode 8 was not Episode 8ing at all. And I know I'll say it for 1,000 times that we did not know, or they did not know, that the series was going to be coming to a end, but here we are. But even still, even if it was just a typical season, usually episode 8 is outstanding, and we got, a lot of people that don't make it out, and just, it's giving mid. I would probably rate the episode around a 7, and that's being generous. Yeah, girl, I know. I apologize. I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. I didn't want to do pre-recorded, and I didn't want to do a premiere. So I'm like, I'm going to just go on, and whoever's on will pop in, say hello before they go to sleep. And everybody else will just have to catch it later in the day, because I got 2 lives tomorrow. So now it is. But yeah, I would give it a 7, being generous. We got some things done. I feel like they're constantly introducing characters and doing all these things that they don't really need to do, when we have a lot that we could be wrapping up in, I don't know, in a neater little bow. But we know it's not going to be wrapped in a bow. So we open the episode and Carter is in the church. And I said, baby, if we're not seeing Paz, I don't want to see him in no church lighting no freaking candles. I am so over Carter. I don't even know what to tell you. So he's saying some kind words about the person that Felicia was. She was tough and fearless. And above all, she was family. Come to find out. Shout out to Cleotrapa. He is talking to some of the folks at the task force, telling them that she had a fatal car crash. Now, he's like, this serves as a reminder to stick together and to not take the time that we have left on this earth for granted. Really, sir? You really still think you're doing the Lord's work? You really still going to church? You really still giving speeches like... Yeah, all right. So Nico, he ain't really buying it. And Carter tells him that it appears to be exactly what was on the report. And I was with Nico. I was giving Carter the side eye. And I'm like, how we make getting bashed in the head look like a car accident? Like, how exactly does that work out? And sidebar, I totally forgot to mention last episode, all the fingers that everybody left all over the lady's house to begin with, when they all showed up looking like they were several different Spider-Mans showing up at the same location. And I was like, it's just crazy how none of the neighbors seen all of these cars showing up or caught anybody on camera. I'm just like, okay, sometimes, power gone power. And Lord knows when it comes to the 12, to the cops, to the whatever you want to call them, they all like to live in the same area. Don't ask me how I know, but I digress. So he says, I know you two were close. This is Carter talking to Nico, because we got to get back to these two. So he's like, if you want to talk, I'm here. And I want to know if you guys think that Nico and Felicia was smashing, or if they was just, friends. I don't know. Just a thought. So Monet and Tariq are having a conversation, baby, at this bar that no one is ever drinking at but her. Yeah, his creepy self. He won't make the neighbors not see anything. Like, what, you walk around wiping people's cameras? Because in them areas, folks be like, Because at 757 on the corner of my far left of my house, I had seen somebody getting out of a white 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Last 4 numbers of the plate was 456. And, yeah. But Yeah, Carter's a spooky. He's a spooky. So we at Monet's bar, where don't nobody ever be. She be the only one over there drinking. I'm like, I know you're probably supposed to be watching your money here, but like, can we not have clients? Could this not actually be like a legit place of operation? It's just so weird that we just waste things like this, but it's a TV show, so we're gonna go with it. She is ready to wash Carter out of her hair. She says, baby girl ain't baby girl no more. And it's stressing her out. And Tariq, he's over Carter too. He's like, he does not need another one. Cops unaliving on his hand, accessory or not. So now, what's the plan is what Monet wants to know, because Tariq is the thinker. And honestly, it's quite shameful that at her age, and as long as she's been in the game, that he's the one doing all the thinking. I let that marinate. We'll let her have it and proceed. Now, he wants to give Carter Noma, but Monet is like, what's to stop him from taking us out? Now, that was more thoughtful than what he was saying. I get what he was saying, but I also got what she was saying, but they got to figure out how to make it shake. So he's like, what about Drew? Obviously, that's a no-go because he brought Carter with him, and he's been so far up Carter's ass. So it's a no for Drew. So Tariq is like, how about we weaponize Carter against Noma and get her to take him out? But we all know how Monet feels about some doggone Noma. And honestly, the feeling may be mutual because I don't think Noma is too fond of Monet either. So Tariq is like, listen, we got to do what we got to do. Like, you might not like it, but we have to review our options, and this has to be one of our options. So we have a quick scene of Drew and his doggone Michael Jackson jacket. I said, here he goes. He's tagging along with Carter and Nico, and they're at Zion's old spot. They was doing the fighting and all MMA looking stuff at. Drew is supposed to be overseeing the venue and the revenue. But first, let's meet with a group of guys that we don't care nothing about, that I don't remember ever seeing. We probably did, but I mean, they ain't have no names. They just have faces. He doing meets, but the moral to the story is it's making Drew's head swell. It's making Drew feel like he's important. He is kind. He is smart. Then he really is. It's just giving him a sense of purpose. So that's what the scene, I guess, was to me. So back at Stansfield, Braden wants to know what happened to the whole apex predator bit. Braden, we all would like to know, because I hate when Tariq was saying that to begin with. But Tariq is not showing us that that's what he's about to do. And Diana has already called him on it, although, she was more grief than anything else. But he's like, it's going to be a lot harder to do with the MF that thinks he's Denzel from Training Day. I'm like, you hit the nail on the head with that one, because Carter surely does think I'm putting cases on all you mother effers. So Braden, he's worried, to say the least. Excuse me, y'all. So Tariq proposes that, wow, we take him out, or I take him out before he does that very thing to me, us, them, whatever. So he asking Braden, where are you going? He says, to move in with L. Braden, you couldn't put none of your drug money away, get a place. He been staying on campus with Tariq the whole time, and now you gonna want to go move with L, who's also on campus. I'm like, and ain't this like their senior year? Like, ain't nothing else for you? Yeah. Okay. So Tariq is like, finds it funny that Braden's like, you in love with this girl already? Like, you don't know this girl. And, we start going back and forth about them getting fired on their day off from the group. And he tells him that he got all the Ivies and the knockoff course correct thing from Effie. And he's like, when did you do that? These two don't communicate at all. Braden wants to thank you. Tariq is telling him how he's been effing up. And he honestly has. I mean, we can blame it on the product, but Braden ain't been Braden like he normally does. Because Braden a F up, but Braden also gets ish done. And I guess he is getting a little bit of stuff done. He just real sloppy and real messy this season, and I'm not a fan of it. So Tariq and Monet finally make their way over to talk to Noma and Kane. Well, mainly it's Tariq that's doing the talking, because Noma is sitting there. I think I got the scene, of her sitting there with her legs crossed, with her attitude, looking like she want to punch Noma in her mouth. So he's telling her, listen, Carter knows who you are and he's after you. And he doesn't like people doing business without, being under his thumb. He's like, but I can get rid of him for you. What's in it for you, Tariq Scam Patrick? I said, come on, Kane. Come on, Kane, with the name callings of the peoples. But Noma's like, well, what hard evidence does he have? He's like, does it matter? He's a cop. He can do whatever he wants, including, making up fake information. But Monet, she is over all of this. She's like, listen, we're giving you top tier, top shelf information. So, we can map the whole plan out and let's work. We can map out a plan and work out the details later. But Noma's like, I don't really want to go to war with the NYPD. And Monet's like, oh, bitch, fuck you. She's ready to go, and she's calling King, Lizzie Whip. And Noma's like, that's not the language I'd expect from my mom. It's so funny because these two, Noma ain't old, but Noma ain't no spring chicken either. But these two, child, I just cannot. But that's right. These two are getting married, and Monet ain't even know. So Kane is talking about, I'm going to be her business partner and her fiance. She flashing her ring. I'm like, oh, look, he do a good job. Tariq over there laughing. That would be me. Like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So Kane is proud of himself. And Monet is just fit to be tied. It's some words exchanged, and then she going about her business. And after they leave, Noma is telling Kane, listen, I need you to find out what Carter knows and how he got that info. So now, like I said, Brayden's supposed to be going to move in with Elle. So he goes on over to her room, and Brushandria and her druggie behind answers the door. She's like, there's something wrong with Elle. She was doing something. And then she said, and then she wasn't feeling so hot. Next thing I know, she was passing out. And he's like asking her, like, who gave her the cocoa. And honestly, my first mind was like, it didn't come from y'all. Like y'all or Effie or somebody, but no, it did not. And the girl was blue, so I just knew she was a goner. But alas, when we get to the end of the episode, I did not get the fulfillment that I wanted from Elle's ass being out of here. So Brayden's like, oh, she has sickle cell. And he's telling her to call 911. But Brushandra, she don't want nothing to do with the police. But he's like, make the call. So we don't see her make the call, but we're going to assume she makes the call. He get an ambulance, they get to the hospital, because eventually they do end up there. But Power, they're not going to show us everything, and we really don't need to see everything. So Davis is the next one that makes a house call to Noma's, and he's like, have your documents. Are you fleeing or getting married? The second one, Kane says, but Davis is like, I wasn't even talking to you, bro. I said, not these two gonna be bumping heads. So Noma's like, yeah, it's true, and we need everything to be airtight so she don't have no problems. So Davis is like, okay, so you think marrying a drug dealer is smart? I said, Davis, that's the same thing I was saying in my last recap. I said, I don't know why we thought that Kane was a good idea. Not that Davis was on the table, but I was like, this don't make no sense. He's like, I wish you would have consulted with me, but it's pretty much a done deal. So Effie comes in, and already she's not with the BS. She's like, I don't know what freaky kind of, Diddy party, baby oil stuff that y'all got going on, but not today. And Noma's like, listen, me and Kane are getting married, and we need your computer expertise. So here she go again, flashing this funky ring. I'm calling it funky, even though it was a nice size. It was probably a beautiful ring, but we just don't like Noma, so we just call it funky. And Kane's like, it's a marriage for hire. He got to make sure Effie know, because he's still trying to, be team Effie. He gonna, he gonna be doing his thing. I guess they gonna have an open marriage. He gonna be doing his thing. Noma gonna be doing his thing and her thing. And then Noma's like, or business with benefits. Noma, she did not need to know all of that. So she basically telling Effie, like, y'all can't be doing nothing together no more. Like, we need this thing to like really be a thing. She's like, also, I need you to create a social media footprint, because Kane don't have nothing, which I guess as a dealer, you probably don't need to be. That's probably really smart of him, because a lot of the reasons some of these people really get caught because they be putting all their business on social media. But Kane is a dinosaur or whatever she called him, so he don't got nothing. So she's like, let's give him a LinkedIn, an employee profile, a college profile, some cute little photos. And Davis is like, let's make that community. community college. So Effie's like, listen, I'm gonna do my best, but Noma's like, you're paid, so you better make it work. Now Kane is concerned about how she feels after the fact. You should have brought your ass home last night. He wouldn't think about that when he left Effie sitting over there and she had to bounce out on her own when you was busy proposing and posing to Noma and taking her down. So she's like, I get it, it's just business. She got that because he's running after her and she going out the door. So Davis is saying to Noma, like, what's the purpose of pillow talk if you're not talking? And she's like, listen, she got it all under control. Um, she's like, she's gonna make Kane the face so she can get her US contracts while the prenup is gonna protect her assets. And it's kind of like, if only you weren't in the midst of divorce. He's like, yeah, child, don't remind me. I'm like, Davis, can we get a divorce? Are you back? Are you technically a lawyer? Are you still, not back to that? No, you're just working for the dealers. Okay. Got mad when somebody told him that last episode. He's like, I am my own person. I make my own money. I work. Okay. All right. Okay. So he says, he kind of saw them as business partners. But despite his tongue game, their relationship has limitations. I said, oh, okay. All right. Eat the cat. Eat. Anyway, besides, she's a one-woman show. I said, now, Noma got that wop, baby, because what is Davis even doing right now? And Kane really honestly needed to hear this conversation because you're marrying her and you are not getting any closer to becoming a partner. Noma says she's just going to spring that around on all y'all and just get what she want. And she's still going to be a charge of things. She ain't got no partner. She ain't got no nothing. It's just her, okay, boss lady. So Davis goes over and meets with Monet and Tariq, and they are looking for info. And Tariq's like, if they remind you, like, you work for me, and all the things that he did, and you remember what happened to Obi, right? So he's like, all right. Let me, I work for you, Davis decides it's his best interest. And I truly hope, because everybody keeps saying they're going to take Davis out, and I don't want them to take Davis out. I'm ready for Noma to go. Honestly, I'm ready for Monet to go because her wardrobe is probably reason that cost the show. So I'm ready for the two of them to go, even though usually I be team ladies. I'm ready for them to go. I just need Davis to stick around for eye candy. Plus, you need a good lawyer, okay? You need a good proctor, if you will. So, he reminds me about the Obi situation. So Davis tells him about, what I was saying about that is I hope that he stays on the right side of things and he stays on the Tariq side and doesn't go over to the Noma side and find himself off the show. Even only got 2 episodes left, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So he tells them about Noma's front business, which is the real reason that she's marrying Kane. And Tariq's like, oh, so he's just a strong man. He's just a strong man. And this is for all the reasons that Noma just said, like in the previous scene, making the business legit. He gonna be the front person. He gonna protect her assets and all of the things. So Davis is like, after Zion took out Wiley Adams, he had to find somebody else for her to do business with, and we enter Sterling Reynolds. But before Tariq can run this back to Carter, we got to go over to the fight spot where Kane decides to pay Drew a visit. Let him know I'm not new to this, true to this. He is, because he's been there before. This is Drew's first time, but this is not Kane's first rodeo. He been over there, and that's how Zion ended up getting unalive, because him and Kane was boxing and brass knuckles and everything, right? So he's like, you were a soldier for Noma, and now you up Carter's ass. He just wants to make sure he's not, selling a recipe, giving up any information. And Drew's like, Noma don't mean ish to Carter. He's like, you're trying to compete with me, but you'll never be me. This is Kane, because brother's going brother back and forth. So he's like, let's see how far marrying your boss gets you. You're nothing but a fall guy. I said, well, he's not wrong. And I could tell Kane was a little bit in his feelings about that. Meanwhile, over at Noma's, Anya's like, you're marrying a thug half your age. Yes, indeed she is. And lying in your face, playing your face all the time. So Noma's like, it's for business. And Anya wants to know, like, what is really good? Like, what's going on? You don't tell me anything. I'm old, or I can handle it. Like, just let me know what's going on. And she's like, are the police after you? How do you make your money? Like, she just really wants to give her a good shake and just like really out with it. So Noma tells her, like, listen, baby, your father was a drug trafficker. And I didn't know when I met him. And, he wanted to protect you. And that's why I left. And, that's why I made it my business to be legit, baby girl. And my connection to your father is probably why there's some law enforcement interest around me, but it's no worries. And I said, ma'am, not Noma just telling the girl crying like, oh, dad's a criminal, but baby, not your mama telling you half the story. But later we do find out that Anya wasn't really buying everything that her mama was trying to sell, because I was like, how you say all of that and you linked up with Kane and thinking you're going to, just because you leave yourself out of the story, even though she answered the questions, does not mean that 1 + 1 don't equal 2. So over at the hospital, the doctor is asking Braden, like, he's supposed to make sure he did not take the same thing as Elle because it was laced with defense. So that's what sent her into cardiac arrest. So he's like, had you guys not found her, or, brought her in or whatever, she would have been a goner. I'm like, damn. So Braden starts going through her phone, and I said, how did you know the password? Like, crackheads don't have no password on their phone. You just go right in and just get what you need. Oh, okay. So he makes arrangements to see the dealer name. I think his name was Steve. And Tariq comes to check in on him. Now, Monet goes over to visit Kane, essentially calling him stupid yet again for, buying into this whole sham marriage. And she's like, it's not going to put you on top. She's not wrong, but sometimes Monet really just needs to mind her business, okay? Like, her and Kane have such a, she got a strange relationship with all her kids, but her and Kane in particular is like husband and wife, but they not husband and wife, and it's like son and mother, employee and employer. It's just right. So he's disappointed that she's working for Carter, and she's like, listen, he forced us to. It's not like I had a choice, and it's not snitching if he's crooked too. Plus, he sicked Felicia on Diana. Not necessarily, but she did do what she did. So he's like, you started all this, but she insists that she's trying to protect these kids. Monet. See, this is why I said she cannot have things both ways when we were on the first 5, because your kids didn't want, with the exception of Kane, your kids did not want in the business, but you so determined that the only way that you can make a life is to be in this game. Girl, you are too old. And that's why Kim was telling her, I think if you keep messing with Carter, something about her life going to be short, and something about going to work at the Walmart as a greeter. I said, not Walmart as a greeter, Kane. Now, while she about to head out, Anya's coming in. And she's like, I want to get to know you, since you're about to marry my mom. She's like, who pays for this? Who pays for this place? He's like, I do. She's like, with bartending, she's like, you must have some good tips. He's like, I made some good investments. He's like, oh, did your dad that was in jail most of your life teach you that? Anya is such a brat, but she is who she is, because when she was talking to her mom, and she's like, is that not what we do? Judge people by first impressions? Like, I've done that all my life. Like, we have money, and that's what we do. We look our nose down at people. So she's like, is that what you and my mom have in common? Baby, yes. Yes, it is. She's like, I heard the Tejadas are the Gottis of the ghetto. Touche, ma'am, touche. Come on with the zingers. And he's like, we're entrepreneurs. And even at this point, he's laughing. So she's like, does my mom sell drugs? So Kane is telling her, like, oh, she's a badass businesswoman. Now go on and go shopping. He gives her some money, make a TikTok or something. And she's like, I won't be calling you daddy. When she walks out, no, ma'am, you shouldn't, because y'all probably only a couple years apart, which is kind of like, ew, and how. I don't know how people do that. Give me about a good 5 years. I'll even give some of y'all 10 with the dating over, but be so for real. Because Anya, I think, is like 20, because I think she's supposed to get her trust or whatever at 21. So she's like 20, and Kane maybe 23, somewhere around. Yeah. But go ahead, Noma. Go ahead and get your cougar on. I wish she had found somebody else other than Kane. I like Kane. It just doesn't seem very practical for what she's doing. But she don't know nobody, and she putting all her decisions and hopes and dreams and everything into these kids, which, it's not always the greatest idea, but that's what we're here for. So Diana has figured out somehow where Felicia's son is, and she's stalking a little boy. So she's telling Tariq back in the dorms, like, I made him an orphan. I'm like, where is the daddy though? Where is the daddy? And this is why she also should have done her research. I know people said his Carter's baby, his Nico's baby. Who is the daddy? But this is why she should have done her research, because you wanted revenge for her taking out your son. Well, she believed it was a son, and now you just made her kid an orphan. So she's feeling all types of guilt. And Tariq's like, I get it. I understand why you feel that way. But he's kind of saying like Felicia did it to herself by what she did and just being in the game and being in the life, which essentially that is what it is. And Carter was saying the son knew what it was. When you're in the game, there's no yeah, it's not the type of environment for you to have a family in. So I don't know why Diana is studying it, but she is riddled with guilt. And she's like, she just wants, a normal life and a family. So they start kissing, and then she gets upset when Tariq goes for a condom. I said, ma'am, now the first time wasn't planned. And also, I thought you didn't want a baby with a deal. Are you trying to get away from the life? And so now, and part of me gets it with the whole grief thing. We're going to get into that a little bit later when she talks to Brishandria. But then the other half of me is like, ma'am, like, go sit your happy ass down somewhere, because honestly, you should still be in the hospital. But you're not. And even though you got out and you did what you did, like, go sit your ass down somewhere, ma'am. Please and thank you, because this is not who you want. Like, sadly, Brushandra gave us some good advice later, because Tariq ain't what you want, baby. Like, I know he may be appealing to you, and all the girls seem to ladies love Cool Reek, but this ain't it. So speaking of Tariq, him and Monet go to Carter and Drew with yet another deal. And Monet, every time she goes, she is trying to like, this is it. I'm gonna give you this, and you're gonna leave us alone. You're gonna let us out. You're gonna leave Diana. Always. And he always gotta be like, Reg, you don't run shit. That's not how this goes. Come on, tell me what you're giving me, and I can tell you what I might give you. But like, I don't have to give you anything. So they give him Sterling Reynolds' name and tell him all about the government contract. So they want to be set free since they gave up Noma. But like I said, Carter does not play fair at all. Like, that's not what he's here to do. So he gonna go use that information, and he gonna keep y'all hanging on. And then maybe, he might want to use you some more. But at no point is he ever gonna let you go. So, hey, Inga, yeah, my kid, life was life in, and I said, let me get up here and get this thing done, because we got the 2 lives later on. And my kids were sleeping for once in their doggone lives on a Saturday night. So I was like, I'm just going to pop up here in a late night hour and go live and get power out of the way. Since my notes and, my little handy dandy pictures is done, like, let's just move it forward. So Monet uses this time to have a conversation with Drew. Like, Carter goes on, he gets in the car, and she's like, kind of telling him like, this is not what you want. He's like, he's making his own choices. I saved the family. She's like, well, what about you quitting and getting out of the game and doing art? Monet, I mean, he did say one last job, which is never one last job, and he did want art. But now here we are. But that's also part of her fault, because you keep putting them in this predicament, and then now he has leaned all the way in, which I think is totally crazy, but this is what he's doing. So he's like, maybe, the family was the problem. So she's like, is he a substitute for your dad? And Drew is like, the absolute audacity, because you took my dad out, ma'am. You got rid of my daddy. And she did. And she did. A little drink break, y'all. So we got a quick scene of Kane paying Effie a visit, because I can't leave her alone. I know the song don't go like that, but he just cannot leave Effie alone. So he's securing his future the same way that she's securing yours, and Effie gives no F's, at all, because she's like, you told me this, you keep saying the same thing, you at my door, I got work to do. And so essentially she just closes the door in his in his face. But I mean, is that going to stop Kane? Because Kane going to still keep popping up like a VD. But here we are. Inga says, I'm ready for the series to 2 more episodes. I'm not ready for it to end. Like, I'm already starting to feel a little sad. And then also, like, I was aggravated this episode because I feel like Same thing at the end of this one. When they give us the coming attractions, the trailer, the teaser, if you will, to that next episode, everything looks so good. And then you get there, and to me, this episode 8, like I was saying at the beginning, is not episode 8 aiding at all. Usually we get like major deaths. Even if I understand they didn't know that the series was coming to an end, but on a typical season, episode 8 is that episode. I remember one of the shows, episode 8 wasn't that great, but I didn't think it was Ghosts. Yeah, so I'm hoping the last two are gonna come through strong, that we're gonna have an 8 or better. Let's maybe an 8 for episode 10 and a strong solid 9 for episode 9. That's what I'm hoping for. We're gonna see what happens. So Drew goes over to Zion's old fight spot, I guess the next day. I'm always assuming we go from day to night the next day, to find out that the building was bought. Baby, where they do that at? How you snatch up and buy property that quickly, like overnight, literally the next day you're out. But okay, maybe, I don't know real estate that well, so maybe you can. But in any case, they left a note, and the note says, "Me and wifey decided we liked the building," and of course it was from Kane. So what does he do? What does Drew do, you ask? He goes and sneaks into Kane's place, and he gets into his laptop. First of all, why is why is Drew able to sneak into your place? Now, I understand that y'all used to live together, but he don't stay there no more. At least I didn't think he was staying there no more. Now, don't ask me where he's staying, because he ain't staying with Monet. Maybe he's staying with Carter and Denise. With his crazy self. But yeah. Let's see. Inga says, yeah, they'll give it to us the next 2 episodes. Nico will die, so will Green Eyes. Yes, I don't want Nico to die. I want Nico to flip. I want Carter to go. I want Noma to go. And honestly, I want Monet to go. Love MJB, but as far as we can get rid of her. I don't know if we actually will. I can foresee Carter and Noma going, because we don't need Noma. Monet may not go because they didn't know that it was coming to an end, but I believe she is part of the reason why, because that budget for that wardrobe, Monet be looking fly. So, like I said, I don't know where Drew is living or how he's able to get into the place where Kane stayed, but he goes into place. He gets into the laptop, and I said, "Baby, what was the password?" Because it seemed like it was a little long, and Drew laughed like, "Nigga." So I'm like, "What's your password? I hate Tariq." Like, it wasn't Noma. I was like, "What is it?" So he finds out that there's a shipment coming in. And I said, these two is just pulling hair and kicking each other in the nuts like little kids. But this is really some grown man ish that you're doing. Like, people could lose their lives and everything else, and y'all are just really being brothers, really giving Cain and Abel. And I'm just like, it's funny, but at the same time, it's like, the shit is not going to go too well. So Drew is talking to Carter, and he's talking about the rent going up, BS. But this is Carter saying that, but Drew tells him about Noma's shipment coming in that night, because he had found it when he just sneaked into the place and got the information off the laptop. Because they ended it so abruptly, it's not going to end the way I want it. Yeah, it's not going to end the way nobody wants us to end. That's why I'm hoping that Nico flips, Carter goes, and Noma goes. That will be the best case scenario that I can get from it, because I don't think anybody else can go. And honestly, we're gonna get into it in a minute. I'm rather sick of Braden this season. And I remember when they shot the season, and what happened to sidebar? What happened to The Crew Has It? Like, y'all just kind of abandoned that. I used to like watching that on YouTube, but that's gone by the wayside. Y'all haven't got back to that. And I remember them saying, because they filmed essentially episode 4 like right after 3, or filmed them together. It was something like that. And they were talking about how dope this season was going to be. And I'm like, how Sway? And the worst thing they could have ever did is break it into 5 and 5, because they did not do anybody any favors because it's not that sensational. Like it's okay, but it's not giving what you think it have gave. So being that we know that it's not going to be a satisfying ending, that's why I'm saying the best I can hope for is to get rid of Noma and Carter. I don't really care about Monet, but I don't think we're going to get rid of none of the major players in the next two episodes. I could be wrong. I come up here and admit when I'm wrong because I've been wrong about some things, and when I got to give it up, I just got to give it up. So we get a quick classroom scene, and I didn't really take too many notes on that because it was so quick. And so not usually I like to get into what they're talking about in the classroom because typically when they do these episodes, when they were doing them in the past, they lecture in the classroom pertains to what's actually going on in the episode. So they were talking about evil. Like I said, I didn't really take too many notes on it because the moral to the story was Diana was so busy on her phone that Brushandria had to help her out. Like, girl, he said, she had to whisper the answer to get Diana out of her situation. So after class, Diana's like, she got to thank her. She's like, oh, girl, thank you. Because, I wasn't paying attention. My mind was somewhere else. I got a lot going on. Girl, what's going on with L, child? I feel bad because I'm not a killer, but don't push me, She didn't want to see nobody hurt. But Brushandria, why are you always in the midst with some product? Like, you were the whole reason for the whole thing with Lauren and leaving the stuff in her desk and getting the whole thing with Tariq and how we got there in the first place. And now you got the whole thing going on with L, which, I don't really care about because I was ready for her to go. And then that didn't happen. And then she kind of calls her out for telling her business, but then in the same breath, let's say, oh, but I don't have nobody to talk to. So you promise you won't tell? Ma'am. Now, Brushandria can't hold water. So when you do, just know that whatever you say to her, it's going to be out in the streets. Okay. So, she's telling her about wanting to actually, miss being pregnant, wanting to be pregnant again. And Brushandria is telling her, it's normal. It's normal to want a replacement baby. And it is. It's totally grief. It's not unheard of. I've definitely heard of it before. So I was, well versed with what she was talking about. But at the same time, she's telling her, but also being a young mom is hard. And she's like, her cousins got babies and they can't go nowhere. So essentially, like, she's telling Diana, like, you should forget about Tariq and the fairy tale and focus on school. And I was like, not Brushandria, the druggie with the big mouth, actually giving you a good word. She is smart because she is at this school. But I just was like, Diana, baby, wake up. I get it. And I want to sympathize with her. But also Tariq is for the streets. Like, let's just be real. Tariq is for the streets. You say you don't want to be in the game, but now you want to procreate with somebody. I digress. Yeah, they do barely go to class anymore. Yep. That's what they was doing. But I didn't think we were going to get back to it. We ain't been there have we been there this whole season? And like I said, I am not even about to, with all the notes I got, I am not even about to take no notes because I was watching it for the second time. I got to watch it at work so I don't get spoilers. And then I like to come home and watch it on my TV so I can see everything clearly, read the writings on the paper, see anything I missed. But yeah, I was like, yeah, this scene don't even really, I guess the whole show is dabbling into evil, but I'm like, get somebody else to do it. Diana better take her bony behind to class and forget having a damn baby and live her amen. I had my son in my 20s and I wish I waited till I was 30 to have a baby child, but you don't know until you know. And then, like I said, she's also dealing with the grief of losing the baby and wanting to immediately replace the baby, which technically you're not supposed to do. That's very unhealthy, like medically to do. I know people who have lost babies before, and you're not even really supposed to be having intercourse for a certain period of time. You're not supposed to be trying to conceive no babies. So it's really not safe for her or the baby either. But grief is playing on Diana's top heavy. Yup, for sure was a filler episode. So also on campus is Effie's raggedy mama, and nobody asked them for this. Nobody asked for this. We was wanting to see more about Effie 3 seasons ago. Season 1, season 2 at best. But now here y'all come when the show is canceled and want to throw this lady in here from Sopranos talking about, hey Josie. I said, not Josie and the Pussycats, baby, and it's Ho Safina. And who is the daddy? Because why do you look like this? I got her down here. Were y'all pleased with who they picked for this mama? Because I know some people were like Houseway, and some people speculated who the mom was. I try not to read too much into it and, get into all of that. So we find out that the man that violated Effie dumped her for the next B, a new model, if you will. And she's in a bind, Nate. So she wanted to know she could float her some cash. And so then the mom is like, I'm proud of you. And, she's giving her some kind words. And you're smart and you're kind, just like me. We think you got your brain from, you're at this school. And I'm glad you left and you did what's, she's giving her all of the things. She's just really, really, really laying it on thick. Baby Effie could give no F's, no fucks, no none of it. So she kind of leans into the mama and says, if you were on fire, I wouldn't piss on you or let you in out of the cold. And baby, she said something else, but I was so busy cackling and hollering because I'm not even an Effie fan, but mama deserved absolutely all of that smoke because the absolute freaking audacity. Because any parent that does not believe their child, when they say somebody abused them and sticks with that no good ass, whatever he is, yeah, there's a special place in hell for that type of parent. So I was with Effie and we can kind of see, I guess that's what they were giving us, but it's a little too late. Like Inga said, who cares about Effie? It's a little too late. I guess they're, letting us know why Effie is the way she is. And if Power ain't gonna have nothing else, they're gonna have some badass mamas. And I hate that for us. Because there's good mamas out there. But Monet, she's trash. Now we got this lady, she's trash. I mean, it's a long list of trash ass mamas. So then, mama leaning into full trashhood is gonna call her cold-hearted, talking about you're a bitch. And now how is anyone ever gonna love you? I'm like, that's why she said what she said to you. That's what she said to you, and told you to kick rocks or open-toe shoes. Because really, F you, lady. Because really, F you. Because I don't even ride for F you like that. And I was riding, okay? I was in the passenger side, okay? With my black fist up. Inga said, oh, you was 21. Yeah, just yep, love your kid. But yep, if you could do it all over again, yep, I would have waited to at least 30. I think I was like 24, 25. At least 30 would have been the magic number. Live a little more life, do a little more things, stack a little more cash, and then worry about all of that. But for women, it's hard because your body is also on a time schedule. So there's that. But I still would have waited. They just would have been pop right behind each other or something. Or maybe there'd been only one and done, or maybe there'd been one or two. So Monet talks to Tariq and he wants to he wants to pin or pit Carter and Noma against each other. Like that's the best he figured out. That's them up here on campus walking her with this blazer and this. Like I said, Monet's outfits be killing the game, and that's why we killing the power. So that's the best that they can figure out. And it almost worked. It almost works. Pitting these two against each other to get them basically get one. I mean, that's kind of where we were at before, but now we're just leaning in a little bit more to try to get these two to take each other out. So we're going to feed this one this and feed the other one that, and then that's going to go with each other's neck, and that's going to be that. So Carter's, swoops in and he raids Noma's straps. Kane gets the message from Drew. Sorry about your pew. Like I said, whole episode they pulling hair, kicking each other in the nuts like a bunch of toddlers, and I'm like, y'all are playing with some grown man of stuff to just really be doing this. So Noma sits down and has dinner with Sterling, and Carter and his team are set up outside to take her down on taking a bribe, because any way we can get Noma. I don't know why all of a sudden Noma is so important. Just the whole thing is very weird, and I honestly hate this Carter storyline because I just go with what they're giving us, but at the same time, when I stop and think and ask myself, it don't really make much sense. But Davis comes in and saves the day, and he passes her a note. Davis still passing notes under the table that says that there's eyes and ears on her. And I said, why did y'all have that raggedy van right outside the window anyway? And why does she not see that? This is again. And then the man in the hat and the lady in the Y'all are dealers. I am just the average Joe. As dealers, y'all head is supposed to be on a swivel, okay? You should have been clocking all of that. I don't know why this is where you decided to meet, but I digress. I don't know nothing about y'all business meeting locations. But how did you not see the raggedy van outside, Noma? Just like no spatial awareness at all. No, nothing. I'm worried about Anya, and you ain't told Anya nothing, but you are actually in the life, and you so used to having Obi who you took out and whoever else you got, because where is your whole team that you have now replaced your whole team with Kane and the kids? But I digress. You don't pay attention, and he's so they get the heck on out of there. And this was honestly part of Tariq's plan, was to swoop in, have David swoop in and save her. Was we gonna work out the thing, plant in her head that Carter did this and yada yada yada, because we pitting them against each other. So now that same night, Tariq had promised Brian. I didn't put this in here, so we're going to talk about it here now. Earlier, because it was a quick little scene. Even though these two was beefing, he always dapping Brayden up, and he always come through for Brayden. So he promised Brayden that he go meet with L's dealer, I think his name is Steve, to scare him. Tariq makes good. They head on over there, but Brayden is high. He's like, nigga, are you high? Yeah, this took a little half a bump, a little mini bump. I said, this is a whole freaking fool. So they get into the apartment, and we get to grilling this guy. Oh, where's L? Oh, you gave us some bad issues, laid up in the hospital, blah, 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 blah. Reek's like he's lying. We pull back the curtain. We got product all over the table, baby, like sugar, like flour, just all over. So now he's like, no, it couldn't have been me. Like, my stuff is not tainted. I got that good ish. It's pure. It's this percent. Like, it's, it's good. It's good. It's good. He's like, if it's so good, then you take a hit. No, I don't want to take a hit, man. So he make him take a hit. So he do why is not even a line, because he just shove his face into the whole pile of stuff. He make him do that one time. 2 times, but that's not enough. I said, baby, what is this, Snowfall? Like, it was really taking me back to Snowfall when that man had I can't think of it, the main white cop guy or FBI guy or whatever you want to call him, had his brother doing all them stuff and ended up taking himself out. But it was giving me very Snowfall, especially by the 3rd time he did it. And Tariq is trying to get him to calm down, but he's like, man, if it was your girl, you do the same thing. Yeah, but no, I think Tariq be a little bit smarter when it comes to this type of action. Like, Brayden can do the online stuff with Effie and set up programs and, false bottoms and all of that. And Tariq is really more good on this whooping ass level, even though Tariq don't have no hands, pulling out straps, whatever he got to do. He's really more in the field, okay? So, like I said, he's like, he doesn't do the same thing. Brayden pops the guy. 1, 2 shots, 3 shots shot. I don't know. I said, oh, now he's a killer. He's an unaliver. I'm like, Brayden ain't been able to bust a grape whole season, whole series. I mean, I feel like you accidentally took out your uncle. I mean, it wasn't an accident, but it was an accident. But all you did was push him. You ain't been able to bust a grape in a fight, okay? But now all of a sudden you on the cocoa, you high, and you're just a worse version of Tommy. I don't like Brayden at all this season. Usually Brayden is the man. Usually Brayden comes through with a strong, Robin to Tariq's Batman, and we with the shits. Everything is all good. But I don't like what they did to Brayden's character this season. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can feel free to get down in the comments and let you know, Kira, you tripping. He's cool. That cocoa got him all messed up. So Reek is like telling him like the whole thing is messy, and baby, they barely made it. You like hear somebody like, you all okay? They barely make it out of fire escape. You can hear sirens. I said, baby, what? And again, with all the fingerprints all over. Fingerprints, cameras. Like, this is 2024, even 2023. Cameras and fingerprints. Y'all was outside the apartment, touching, buzzing, but it's Tariq's show, so Tariq's gonna get away. Brayden, maybe not so much. You'll be okay if Brayden gets, yeah. And Brayden has said, I don't know, because sometimes they be talking cash-ish and they say one thing and they don't mean it. But I was going through the, the clock app to the TikTok, you don't stop, and caught a live one afternoon that he was on, and somebody was asking him, what he was working on. So he was going over that and asking him, I think I mentioned on another live, if he was going to be partaking in any of the spinoffs. And he said no. So even if I make it out the season, like Tariq can go do whatever, but he's done. So I ain't mad at it. He had a good run. I hate what they did with him this season, but here we are. So Kane and Noma, they meet up with Nico because they're about to bribe him. They give this man his 50K because he's like, oh, here's the 50K for my conversation. I said, I know that's right. Pay me for my time. What they really want is Carter. They want him to essentially rat on Carter. They offer him 500K. Sir said he wants 7 figures, not 6. I believe he said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 figures and ongoing payments. Kane was like, if you don't get the F out of here, all of that with your greedy tail. And yes, Inga, I did notice she did have them flames on her. I said, ooh, not you got ginger snaps fire on your suit. You going in the fire, Noma. I hope we get Noma out of here by episode 10. I would like to see Noma in 10 and Carter in 9. We gonna see how it shakes out. So at the hospital, Elle has made it. And just like Bel Air, they could not seem to get rid of the troublesome druggy girlfriend. Like, come on. That lady was blue when we seen her, okay? Ain't no way she should still be kicking, but here she is. So Brayden gives her back her phone, and he's like, she's like, oh yeah, that gets me in trouble because I got the access, I don't know why she didn't ask Brayden for product or that's what they're doing. Why did you get it from someplace else? But I don't know what their arrangement is. And so he's essentially telling her she don't have to worry about Steve again. You or nobody else. He took care of it. What does that mean, Brayden? What does that mean? I didn't want any of this. It's just stuttering. Ma'am says that life is precious and she cannot take the guilt and tells him he can go. And I said, ma'am, what are we even doing? Because you have sickle cell, but then on top of that, because let's just put that on the shelf. Let's just put that to the side. On top of all of that, you are doing illegal narcotics. Okay, illegal. It's not like you just taking what they gave you or just a little Mary Jane, just a little of the earth's greens, if you will, a little something take the edge off. Like you're doing some hard stuff that you don't know what's in it. Child. But life's precious. Okay, girl. And I said, gonna. She is going to tell. That's why I said Brayden is not about to make it because Elle is gonna be his downfall. That's gonna be his Holly. They like to recreate things. That's gonna be his Holly. Inga said they did the same thing in OG Power season 4 when Ghost was climbing out in Greg. Yup, with his bare hand and a finger. Yup. But then didn't they get a print from that though? And I thought he had gloves on, but he took the gloves off. I think. I thought they got like a partial or something like that. I was like, oof, Lord. Yeah, but overall, Ghost was still smarter. Smarter than that. They had him on the buzzer. They had him on the door. They had him on Homeboy's door. They had him on the table, on the window, on the fire escape. Power and Stars are watching your recaps about the fire. Yes, they sure did copy off of you. I said, because when you said that, I said, nah, she got ginger snaps flames. And I caught it the second time myself. I thought it was a different print. I said, nah, she got fire up there. Exactly. You have sickle cell, but you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. That could take you out. Like you went into cardiac arrest. Like that didn't have to be the first time, and it could have been the last. Brayden is so stupid for dealing with her. He did try to warn him. Neither one of them are very good when it comes to women, but Tariq got his pick. Is like I said, he for the streets, and Brayden is just a sucker for love, and he love him a brown girl, and he can't help himself. But honestly, they just need to be having situationships because we don't need to have a family. We don't need to really have relationships, because the same thing with Diana. You cannot be in the drug business and have kids. You cannot be in a drug family and have a wife or like somebody that you really care about. So you might as well just get you some little, situationships and keep it pushing. But they're young. This is the life that they have decided to live, because both of them were trust fund kids and decided that this is what they are going to do. And it seems like we have not gotten very far since our choke days. Like, y'all done went to choke and then back to wherever, or now to here, and y'all not no better off than what y'all look like, what y'all started. And like I said, I don't know why Brayden was unable to put anything to the side once they got back started. I know you had to give Davis money and everything, but you couldn't put nothing to the side. You got to stay in Tariq's dorm. Baby, let me wrap this thing up. So Carter in there talking to Denise like he ain't got no good sense yet again. And I'm so over this Denise storyline. I really am. When Nico comes in and basically he tells him about Noma's offer. He's like, although I didn't take anything, you lies. You lying liar that lies. You took that money. You took that money. But, he said he going to be down for his ninjas. And he ain't going to tell. He ain't going to flip. He ain't going to do it. So Carter's like, all right, tell him you're going to take the deal and set up the meet in person, but we want Noma to come along. I said, Noma. So before we get to that final scene, we get a quick scene. Effie has finished her assignment. I think she went over to Keen's. And he's, these two, they just can't leave each other alone. They just can't let it go. Like, he has a burning love for this girl, or like, or lust, or whatever you want to call it. Because y'all not to be like, it's not love for Effie. So he's telling her he cares about her. And she's like, well, she's basically asking, why weren't you the one that told me about the marriage? Because he's like, I ain't know no one was gonna wave the ring in your face. And honestly, it's honestly just business. And she's like, she starts on her Effie get on her soapbox, but I mean, understandably so, after the scene that she had with her mom. I mean, she's like, and this is why I always look out for myself. And he's like, but you're leaving me. And they have some more backs and forth conversation. But the long and short of it, he tells her he got her. You my little Wu Tang, and I don't give a okay, girl. I know. So he says he's gonna be down for Effie, and they start to smirking and smiling and carry on, and I'm like, they about to do it next. He about to do it. So he gonna marry Noma if they make it to the altar and to the I do's, and he gonna be with Effie, and she gonna be with Davis, which I need Davis to tighten up. Tighten up, Davis. I don't know why you was acting like a sucker for love with Miss Noma this episode, but I digress. Brayden will be his own downfall. Yup, always. He's always been a little with the tomfoolery, but now he has taken it up a notch. And it's funny because just last season you was watching Trace and them fools and your father's company, I think it was last season, do the very thing at work, and you was looking at me. You was selling to them, but you was looking at them like they was crazy, and now you crackhead too. Got it. Sucker for love. So we get our last scene. Carter meets up with Noma in the dark, on the rooftop in the alley. Child, I don't know, someplace secluded in the dark. And I really thought he was going to take Noma out. I really did. And I was here for it, and I was waiting for it. But no. Heaven forbid they give us that. What they give us is these two is basically exchanging notes about Tariq and Monet. Like, oh, well, they've been saying this about you, and they've been saying this about you, but they've been telling me this about you, and they've been telling me this about you. And they decided to team up like some damn Power Rangers. I said, absolutely not. What are we even doing here? Like, she's like, oh, we can just cut out the middleman. I was like, why did we fumble this? Why? One of y'all should have took each other out. That was the whole plan. And essentially, that's where the episode ends. But why did it seem like Noma went to sleep with that man? Why does Noma just have a sexy voice? Was it just me? Because she was like, we can just, cut out the middleman, and, my business will be better than their business. And, I don't want any problems with MIPD. So we just team up together. I was like, ma'am, Miss Hot Puss, what is going on? Child, mama, I made it, because that episode wasn't giving that much. It was giving filler. It was giving mid. Next 2 episodes look like it's going to be good. But like I said, they do that to us all the time, and then it don't quite be what we're looking for. Now everybody got a strap. You got a strap. You got a strap. You got a strap. I didn't even write down everybody when I was taking my little notes on the coming attractions, because I don't try to give y'all too much, because we really gonna get into it next week. We talk about it, and I'm gonna try to be here Saturday night, y'all, and not at no doggone after midnight. So it might be like 11 o'clock. Might be like 11 o'clock, because your girl does have to work on Saturday and get home and feed myself and feed the kids and, fool la la. But, anyway, so Tariq is setting ablaze to somebody's car. We see him with some gasolina. We see somebody's car on fire later on. Davis is telling Tariq that he has got to take out, not Davis, Carter. Davis is telling Tariq he's got to take out Carter. I have in my notes Davis. They don't make no sense. And I said, is that Drew and Diana that's teaming up like Bonnie and Clyde with the straps? I love to see it. We see Noma in her wedding garb, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I really am. Like I said, this episode was like, Because what did we start with in the beginning? Yeah, I was pissed off from the beginning when we seen Carter in that church. I didn't want to see Carter in that church. I thought the whole thing with how Felicia went away was stupid, but okay, that's what he wanted to go with. And then just Monet and Tariq strategizing. And I mean, the only really good thing we got was I thought that Elle was going to be out of here. I thought that Elle was going to be out of here, and Kane and freaking Drew was running around like a bunch of kids with their tomfoolishness, but it is what it is. 9 and 10 should prove to be better. Anybody coming through on the replay, because it's late at night, so that's probably where most of my views will come from, but it's okay. I love y'all just the same, and I appreciate you ever so kindly. Leave a comment, #replay, drop an emoji, just help your girl with that algorithm, because, life just always be lifing. Also help your girl get to 1,000 by the end of the year. Sorry, y'all. I have to give my music a second even before I start talking. Otherwise, y'all can't hear me. It sounds like I'm in water and y'all can't hear me over the music. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for coming through. I know it was super duper late. My apologies. I will do better next week. If you did not catch our live recap of A Good Man 2, go ahead and catch the recap of that. Also catch me later on, because it's already Sunday for a Pajama Sunday. It's probably just going to be a check-in. So come through for a little mental health and self-care, and then join me with Inga, Ginger Snaps, and the rest of the ladies to talk about the first 2 episodes of Monster, the Menendez brothers, the story. Other than that, keep your notifications on. I appreciate you guys, and did I set this up properly? No, I did not. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.